Hello, my name is Robbin Sally, and I am one of the career counselors at Innovative Hematology. Today I'm going to have a conversation with you about resumes. What is a resume? A resume is a brief written account of personal, educational, and professional experiences. It basically tells people who you are and it keeps track of your professional and academic history. Keep in mind these points. It takes recruiters less than 10 seconds to scan your resume before they decide if they're interested in a job candidate. Also, 75% of job applicants are rejected by software programs that scan the resume for important keywords. What to include on your resume? You can include anything as long as it showcases your accomplishments, your skills, and your abilities. So you can list awards, work experience, leadership skills, skills in your areas of expertise, your volunteer work, internships, your practicum experience, and your education. Resumes can be used for a number of purposes. Most people only think of it when they're applying for a position. However, you can also use it for college admissions, when someone is asking for your resume when they're going to write a recommendation, for scholarship selection, internships, volunteer selection as well, scholastic awards, being a grant recipient when you're seeking membership into an organization, and for business startup funding. You can use it for a number of reasons. There are three types of resumes. The most common is the chronological resume. Then you have the functional resume, and then a combination of the two. A chronological resume is the type of resume that contains a career summary, and it's sometimes called a professional summary. This is where you, in a brief summary, identify what your skills are, your background, just what you want an employer to know in a very concise manner. You also can include an objective. However, most people have gotten away from using objective and are just using the professional summary. And you would list your work experiences in chronological order, using the most recent to the oldest. Here's an example of a chronological resume. As you see at the top, they've listed their professional summary. Then they went into their work experience in order of the most recent. They identified their work skills and their duties. Basically, you want to include accomplishments and you want to include numbers. Data is very important to prove that you have the experience that they're seeking. And they also have included their education at the bottom and other relevant skills. Some people will ask me, should you put your relevant skills at the top, also your education at the top instead of at the bottom? It really doesn't matter. It's just personal choice. The main thing you do is you want your resume to look nice, neat, and professional. I usually would suggest to people that they include their education at the top if they're someone that has very little experience, maybe they're fresh out of college. However, if you are a seasoned employee, I advise to lead with your professional experience and include your education at the bottom. But again, this is personal choice. A functional resume highlights your abilities, your transferable skills such as hiring, managing, marketing, coaching, things like that, rather than your chronological work. So it emphasizes your skills and minimizes your chronological work. And this is done for several reasons. You still need to summarize your work history, but you bury it at the bottom. Function resume for these purposes. Usually if you have gaps in your work history, if you're entering the workforce, if you are a job hopper, if you're transitioning into a new position, if you have very little work experience, and you don't exactly fit into what the hiring manager is seeking. So this is a way, again, you emphasize just overall what your skills and abilities are, and you de-emphasize the lack of the work experience or the work history. Functional resume. If you see at the top, they've listed their professional summary. Then, instead of going into their work history, they went into their relevant skills, their transferable skills. So this person has pulled out their customer service skills, sales, and merchandising, and they're detailing that. So they're emphasizing what they want the employer to know and de-emphasizing their work history or lack thereof. And then they've included their education at the bottom. So this is a very good resume to use if, again, if you are new into the professional work world, if you have gaps in your career, and you also are changing careers. So we'll discuss the combination resume. This is probably the least used form of resumes. This is a combination of a chronological and a functional resume. And basically what it does, it emphasizes skills over work experience. However, like the functional resume, it is similar to the chronological resume by making the work experience very prominent. Here's an example of a combination resume. For any of your resumes, I do suggest that you include contact information. If you don't feel comfortable with your address, that is fine. Just include your phone number, your email address at the very least, maybe your LinkedIn profile. But if you feel comfortable including your address, that is perfectly fine. Your choice. But this individual has included their professional summary. And like a functional resume, they have identified their skills, which are real estate and customer service. Then they went into great detail with their work experience, their education at the bottom. So again, this is a combination where it included a chronological order of their work experience, and then they also detail, like the functional resume, their skills. Other professional documents that you may want to create would be a cover letter. I highly suggest that if there is a position that you really want to create a cover letter, I think one should always submit a cover letter for any position. That's just my opinion, because it really shows that you went the extra mile and that you're interested in the position. A cover letter is basically a resume is your work history, where did you work, where did you go to school. However, a cover letter is your pitch. Why do you specifically want this position? And you want to list things that probably that you didn't include on the resume, or that you want to go into greater detail. A resume should be no longer than 1 page, 2 pages at the most. And then you can also include a thank you letter. After you've had an interview, submit a thank you letter, which is technically an email. Most people don't submit letters anymore, but a email will suffice. When you go in for the interview, you may want to get their business cards where you can get with their email addresses and send a thank you letter. Again, it shows that you went the extra mile and that you're appreciative of for them inviting you for an interview. Final tips. Do not use personal pronouns, no I's, me's, or I's. Keep it current and relevant. There's no need to go all the way back to kindergarten. Create a resume for every industry. If you've been in marketing and photography, have a resume for each one. Be conservative, no pictures. That's what LinkedIn is for. Use bullets and titles and headings so your resume can stand out and is easy to read. Use active voice. You managed, you oversaw. Use a professional profile versus an objective. Keep it down to 1 to 2 pages. Consider an areas of expertise section. Highlight your accomplishments. If you don't tell people what you're capable of, they won't know. Be consistent with your font and format all the way through. Proofread and have others proofread. Include relevant information where you learned a lot and you shined, your internships and volunteer experiences. Make it easy to read. Use fonts such as Arial and Times New Roman. Use formatting that would catch the eye of the reader. Be honest. Being dishonest will come back to bite you. Use a reference page where you can have the names and phone numbers and email addresses of teachers, coaches, employers, and make sure that you ask them first if you're going to use them. Don't be afraid to shine, and also use keywords and ChatGPT to help you with your resume. The purpose of a great resume is to get you invited for an interview. You do well in the interview, then you may be offered the position. Helpful tools are knocking dead resumes and cover letters. Live Career has examples of various types of letters you may need. And Resume Genius examples of resumes and cover letters. And LinkedIn is also a very good resource. If you need assistance, we can be contacted at the following, and thank you for watching this presentation.